let's introduce our last speaker. And this is, again, one of the newest Texit Rangers, believe it or not, Mr. Nelson Brand. And for those of you who don't know Nelson, he's not actually part of the Digital Blessings team. I wish he was. Actually, I wish we were like, the first group that he put in, because Nelson actually joined this company, I believe it was April of 2024. So he was one of the first handful of people that got started with TEXITcoin, and he's just awesome. He's just the best, and we just hit it off, and he hit it off with everybody because he is so kind and caring and sharing. And I just asked him, would you come on? We just learned so much from Nelson while he was there. Picked his brain every chance we could, and I just asked if he'd come on and share his heart with our team. So Nelson, where are you, sir? All right, so if you can unmute and kind of give everybody a little bit of background of yours. First of all, where are you from? What have you been doing before TEXITcoin? How in the world did you hear about it so soon? And what made you get involved? So let's kind of start there.
So last year, my buddy Paul called me and he said to me, "Hey Nelson, there's a project that's interesting. It's in Texas, in McKinney, Texas. By the way, am I too loud?"
You're not too loud. No, if you could speak louder, even that might be better.
Okay, bear with me 1 second here. How's that?
It's better.
Okay. So last year, my buddy Paul Valencia went ahead and said to me that there was an interesting project, a cryptocurrency project happening with this gentleman named Bobby Gray in McKinney, Texas, that I should consider it. And at the time, I've been in real estate and construction for 32 years. I said to him, I'm not really too interested in that now. I've been in cryptocurrencies before. So immediately, I'm going to let it go. And he said, do me a favor, would you kindly call Bobby Gray and talk to him and let me know if this is a legitimate potential project? He said, do it for me. So I went ahead and called Bobby. And back then, we had the luxury of being able to speak to Bobby quite often. And I spent about 3 hours on the phone with him. And I was so blown away and so impressed with his knowledge on cryptocurrencies, on what is money, on inflation, on the dollar, on the Fed, on taxation, on so many things, history and politics included, that I was blown away. And he described the matrix, he described the commission structure, he described so many things that evening I got a big old piece of paper and I taped them together and I kind of drew this thing of the way that I understood this project. And I told the wife, I said, honey, we're going to be millionaires. And she laughed and said, you're silly, you're a fool, and we're going to lose it all.
There's some faith.
Nevertheless, I went all in the moment that I heard of it. When Bonnie Gray says the term honest money, if I peel back that onion, we're talking about creating a currency that's anchored to value. We're talking about creating something that in our case is paying us to own it. So none of us are familiar with that type of money system because we're born into a dollar that gets overprinted, so that every single year we face inflation and things get continuously more and more expensive. And we think that's a norm. And so when he described that as honest money, I quickly understood what he was talking about. And it's the multiple layers that he embedded into the system, from the 1, 2, free, to the 3, 6, 9, to the daily drip, to the accumulation of perpetual points that go all the way up, to the continued rise of the coin on a monthly basis, 25% average. If you compile all those things together, and now of course the supernova, if you put all those things together, it compounds in a way that nothing else can. In fact, it's so difficult to put into words unless a person's a minor and they're already participating. And then for the first time, you'll feel it. You'll know what it is. Because from the outside glass, from the outside of a store glass window, it looks like a scam. It looks fake because cars are being given away, trips are being had, all sorts of monies, generous amounts of monies are being paid to every miner on a weekly basis. Last week, it was $319 million in commissions that were paid out. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and he said, Nelson, it is definitely a scam because it's such an incredible amount of money for an idea that is still so young. It's still so new, still so nascent. And so I'm lucky. I got very involved in the beginning, and I learned the system pretty well. And I think I understand Bobby's message and what he's after, and I'm super proud to be a part of this.
Well, thank you for that. Let me ask you this. Share a little bit of your experience over Thailand and Singapore and kind of your biggest takeaways from being there.
Like yourself and Sarah and Jim pointed out, the people there are beautiful. They're so wonderful. They seem to cherish one another so easily. They smile so easily. So I found just beautiful human beings. And then, of course, our core, who we are as TEXITcoin miners and rangers and Bobby and Kira and the whole family, Sam and so forth. What an abundant group. First of all, the IQ level of the group there is so high. The work ethic is super high. The camaraderie and ability to connect we're such a diverse group from all over the country and all over the world. And yet we come together, like-minded minds, all in pursuit of a single mission, which is what Bobby's laid out, to take this little coin to $2,800 within another 4 years. And to do so by bringing on people and growing this mining pool. So I got to meet a bunch of you guys, and I had a blast. I think you guys are all beautiful people, and I felt super lucky to be around you. I feel lucky to learn from all of you as well. And you know, again, like you pointed out earlier, Coach Bud, the fact that Bobby and Kira had experienced all this before and they wanted to share it with us is such a blessing. So super cool. Bobby asked me, he said, hey, what was your favorite part about this trip? And I told him, beyond the people that I met there, it was the group that traveled, that we all got together. And then I said, and also though, Token 2049 was such an incredible event. I couldn't believe how warm we got received by, I have relationships now with folks in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, India, Hong Kong, Singapore, that whole area. It's unbelievable. The Philippines, we're going to start legs and veins in all those areas now. Bobby went ahead and said to me, Nelson, my favorite part was that I got to share all of this with you guys. And it's such a simple, small answer, but that really delineates that guy. It really shows who he is, right? Because as a friend of mine pointed out to me a week ago, he said, why would somebody pay out those sums of commissions when he doesn't have to? Why would he do so? And it's such a good question, right? And I said, he does it because it's the right thing to do. He does it because his path is to try to free humanity from this dollar system that we're all born into. And this is the way he's doing it, through this cryptocurrency called TEXITcoin, which has now become a genuine revolution, a total movement. You know, you were talking about Jim Chadwick's passion. I got a chance to meet Sarah. I know her passion. You as well, Coach Bud, and everybody else. Everyone is moving in that same direction without asking permission. And it's so fantastic.
Yeah. I tell you, and what Jim shared and you shared and Sarah too, it's when, you know, people, diverse people, I mean, from all over the world. We had, you know, Mark and Veronica from New Zealand and people from Australia and Europe and, I mean, just all over. But it's the like-mindedness and the fact that we're like-hearted, because the people that seem to do the best and have the most success are not salespeople. They're the people that literally are servant leaders that truly want to help and lift others up. The coaches, the teachers, the preachers, the pastors, the counselors, those are the people that have the most success in this business. And when and I tell people, when you're like-minded and like-hearted and you're moving in a positive direction towards a common goal, it creates a bond with people that you don't even have with friends and family that you've known all your life. You know, and I've said this a million times, but the best part of this compensation plan is not the compensation. It's the relationships that you build with like-minded, like-hearted people that are going to be friends of yours and closer than family for life. A lot of the people that you met that were also there with me in our group, like Ricardo and Claudia and Mark and Jeannie, these are people that I've met in this industry, like-minded, like-hearted, and we haven't always worked together in the same companies, but we've always remained friends. I can't go to those areas and stay in a hotel because they won't let me. They can't do that here because it's family. No, you're staying here. What are you talking about, right? But what this company has done and empowered, I mean, and Mark doesn't mind sharing this because I've had him on to share this, but Mark was in a really tough financial season for a long time, and they were struggling. And, you know, he put me off for like 2 months before he finally sat down and listened to me. And when he did, he saw it, but he was financially not in place to do it. So we helped him, and, you know, he paid that back and all that stuff. But I knew this was the right thing for him and Jeannie. And to see their financial lives change so rapidly to the point where they're not even back yet. Ricardo and Claudia aren't even back yet because, again, when you have the time freedom and the financial freedom, Mark and Jeannie and Ricardo and Claudia went on from Singapore to Dubai. And then Mark is going from Dubai. He's actually in Turkey now. And then they're going to go visit some people and friends in Europe. I don't know when they're coming back. But here's the cool thing. Their team's still growing. Their business is still growing. They're still engaged in their business. Same with Ricardo and Claudia and stuff. And again, like I say, the best part of this whole deal is the relationships you build with those people. So I'm just so honored and pleased that we got to meet you, and you're just so awesome. And I'm just thankful to have met you and learned from you. And the fact that you'd come on and share with our group and everything is just amazing. So thank you so much for that. Let's wrap this up.